Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome to the bonus show. Quick follow-up from Ryan on the David Attenborough searching for a Yeti story. Ryan said, when talking about hair samples being tested for the existence of a Yeti, I would also like to put forth the very real existence of the Tibetan blue bear, the rarest subspecies of bear in the world. It is quite possible that the Tibetan blue bear or the snow leopard or other animals are the source of the hair specimen, or maybe they did find the Yeti hair. They did say it had bear-type DNA, so maybe. I don't know. I have a story here from Nephi about a Texas beer company. You would have think that I would have found out about this before Nephi, considering I live in Texas. And this is an Austin brewery.
I believe Nephi also lives in Texas, though.
Oh, did not know that. Okay. So this company, Austin Beer Works, launched a 99-pack of beer. Thing is huge. And it's for their Peacemaker Anytime Ale, which I guess they were having trouble selling. It's a 7-foot-long box that weighs 80 pounds, 3 rows of 33 cans. And they only released 20 of these packs, which all sold out on the first day. 99 pack, I'm sorry, for $99. And I don't see how this is practical. I mean, it's an incredibly good deal for what is probably a decent beer because it's a decent brewery. But it's funny how doing something hokey like this always just seems to work and seems to sell more stuff regardless of the quality of your product.
Yeah, but practically, is this thing delivered or do you have to go pick it up? So how do you even bring it from one place to another?
Well, I suppose you have to do it very carefully. Yeah.
I mean, not everybody has a vehicle that could accommodate this.
Well, everything's bigger in Texas, right?
Yeah.
So there it is. Yeah. And I think it's, like I said, incredibly good deal. $1 a beer for 99 beers. You better really like that beer though, because it's not mixed. But it's just kind of interesting. Doing hokey stuff like that can really pay off. There are certainly plenty of products, of companies that have done similar things, but you got to sell your beer pretty cheap. I guess that's why they only did a small number of these. All right, let's talk about the Olive Garden. I think we have expressed our disdain for the Olive Garden multiple times on this program. And we have friends who to this day still like the Olive Garden and say that it's pretty good.
I don't know that I still have friends who say that. I have to say, not because of that, but I just whoever you're thinking of, I don't think I'm in touch with anymore.
Okay. Well, the Olive Garden now has 1,000 never-ending pasta passes. They sold out within 45 minutes. And what is the never-ending pasta pass? It is basically it's like their never-ending pasta deal, but it costs $100 and it lasts for 7 weeks. Yeah.
So what, you buy it, you go to dinner every day at the Olive Garden?
Well, it's all you can eat pasta for 7 weeks. That's all it is. So I guess if you want to really get your money's worth, yes, you could be there every day, gorging yourself on their disgusting food all night.
Here's what I don't understand about the Olive Garden, okay? I understand that sometimes fast food is popular in part because it's inexpensive in the U.S. I mean, in other countries, you go to, in Switzerland, if you go to Burger King, it's still expensive. But in the U.S., sometimes these restaurants are popular because they're not near, you might be in a food desert, right? So you have limited choices. But I still know people here in New York City who will sometimes go to the Olive Garden and sometimes they will go to Pizzeria Uno in New York City, okay? There is not much of a price advantage. In other words, there has to be something else where people really like it because Olive Garden and Pizzeria Uno are not expensive places in New York City, but New York City has good restaurants at every single price range, and there are many places in New York, very nice Italian restaurants that are $9 for a plate of pasta. Now, yes, it's not never ending. You don't get unlimited refills, but to me, that concept is part of what's connected to the obesity issue, because these unlimited food types of things are far more rare in other countries to begin with. So why would someone choose, when you have inexpensive Italian and pizza places in New York City, to go to the Olive Garden or to Pizzeria Ono, unless I guess you truly do think that they make the best pizza and pasta? I don't know. I just do not understand it.
I'll never understand it either. They have, I guess, a spokesman here, someone involved with the company, who says that this isn't about gorging, but about fun. It's about fun.
What's more fun than having pasta for dinner every night?
We're trying to make our fans feel like VIPs. Yep. Also, this is not just pasta. It's all the Coca-Cola products they have you can drink as well.
Oh, good, because there's nothing better to cure an obesity problem beyond having pasta for dinner every day, unlimited amounts of pasta, than also having some Cokes to go with it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Colorado.
By the way, Louis, let me just to go back to the other thing. Okay. There's kids starving in the U.S. Let's remember also that in spite of the $100 pasta thing and the whole thing, we still have kids that are starving that don't have enough to eat.
Yeah. In Colorado. Now, David, how do you pronounce the word Butte?
I think it's the city in Colorado, I think is pronounced Butte.
Okay, because it would be pretty funny if it was called Crested Butte, but I guess it's Crested Butte. This is a city in Colorado.
It is.
And they were just involved in Anheuser-Busch's Bud Light ad campaign, whatever, up for whatever. It's a stupid ad campaign, just like all their ads are incredibly stupid. And this one, this is a pretty interesting story. This is an artsy town. There are no chain restaurants. There's no Olive Garden. It's full of artists and people who live there seasonally. And, you know, we're talking about Colorado here, so I think everyone can imagine what this place is like. More than 1,000 people were flown into the town for the filming of a commercial. This took place over the course of a few days. The beer giant paid $500,000 to paint several blocks of their Central Street blue and otherwise temporarily revamp the town into fictional whatever USA.
Now, when you say to paint the blocks blue, is this the buildings or is it the ground?
I believe it's all of the above.
Wow. So that's going to be incredibly expensive to paint back, obviously.
Oh, no, it's just the street. It's just the street.
Ah, okay.
Central Street. They say blocks of a central street. But to me, that, you know, I guess could mean the buildings on the blocks as well. But no, I guess this is just the street. And now, I mean, after this, the airport is so small that people couldn't leave. They had all these people who flew in here who were pretty much stranded in a Bud Light commercial. But a small town like this, artsy town, basically selling their dignity for $500,000 to Anheuser-Busch. I can only imagine that there are many, many citizens of Crested Butte who were furious about this.
I would assume the same thing. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't know that Crested Butte is necessarily like hipster paradise. I don't think it's Boulder or Austin or something like that. But it's definitely kind of like an artsy liberal town, from my understanding. This just what an inconvenience. Now, the thing about people being stuck there. Usually when I book a flight, I book a return flight. So I already have a way to get back. You know what I mean? I wouldn't just show up and then say, oh, well, now I need a flight. Oh, there's none for a week. I wonder how that happened.
A private security company fell behind on screening requirements for travelers leaving on chartered planes.
Ah.
TSA spokesman Ross Feinstein told the Denver Post. So I guess it was just that influx of people to the airport. They just couldn't handle it. And people were stuck. And ridiculous situation. This was probably a decision that people in the town, you know, people who run the town made without really consulting the citizens. But I hate these ads. I hate the campaign. I hate the beer. It's incredible that I believe Bud Light is still probably the #1 selling beer in this country.
I was in Massachusetts over the weekend, and someone mentioned a new type of Bud Light or of Bud, so there was Budweiser, right? Then there was Bud Light. And then I remember there being Bud Lime, right? One with lime in it.
Yep.
And then is there some other one now? Maybe like Bud Light Platinum or something like that?
There was the Platinum. I don't know if that's still around. That was like the blue bottles. And then there was like a Budweiser. It came in a black bottle, and it was like Budweiser except a little stronger. It still tasted like crap.
Am I wrong, Louis? I know you've worked in bars, and so you would know more about this. In the U.S., there's this kind of Ford-Chevy rivalry where there's people who get engaged in debates like Ford-Chevy, and they subscribe to one side, so to speak. Is it the same thing with the Bud Light and then the Coors Light people? Is that a thing as well?
You've got people that they drink the Coors Light, they drink the Bud Light. They'll never switch. That's all they drink. Those are the only beers. You know, they might spoil themselves once in a while and get some microbrew. But those are the go-to beers. And the people who drink Coors Light all the time will never drink the Bud Light. They hate the Bud Light and vice versa. But the difference is, I think they all acknowledge that those beers are crap still.
I wonder if there's any...
the people...
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I wonder if there's any correlation between Ford Chevy and Coors Bud.
I don't know. Of course, the people who are obsessed with Chevy and Ford think that they're the best, pieces of engineering the planet's ever seen. And you'll have a hard time convincing them that a Japanese company might make a better car.
All right. And you know, I actually just read that a lot of those Japanese cars, they actually have more U.S. parts than some so-called American cars. You know, so it's just, and it's become this whole thing. I feel like the car brand thing has become particularly interesting. This idea of American versus foreign cars. Typically people they say, oh, I generally drive American cars. I generally don't drive American cars. I was just reading, I don't remember if it's Honda or Toyota. There are many Toyotas that have, say, 68% U.S. parts in them versus, say, Fords, which have 65% U.S. parts or whatever. The concept of what it means to be an American car is increasingly nebulous.
Yeah, and of course, the cars themselves are manufactured here. And there are many, many, many U.S. employees, working for Honda, Toyota, you name it.
Yeah, no question about it. I feel like there's some kind of resentment among some people towards non-U.S. brands. But when you think about the fact that they're built in the U.S., oftentimes the people employed in the factories that make the parts are Americans. The entire dealership industry that's employing all American salespeople, when you think about it, the entire thing starts to become relatively moot in my mind.
It does. If we were all to boycott Honda, lots of Americans would lose their jobs.
Yeah.
So I don't see the point. But if you want to strictly buy American cars because Americans will get a few more dollars out of that purchase than the alternatives, that's your prerogative. That's fine. I don't really care. I'm not a big fan of American cars in general. But anyway, that's just me. Anti-American, commie, fascist, socialist, liberal scum. What can I do?
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.